Welcome to the You Were Designed for Greatness podcast. Each week we will bring you inspiring tips, stories, and ideas to help you be all that you can be, discovering your greatness. Featuring Donna Tashton. Donna is a transformational life and health coach, a highly sought-after public speaker, and the founder of Vibrant Living. She has helped hundreds find a better life, free of stress and living the greatness they were truly designed for. And now, your host, Donna Tashton.
Well, good morning. This is Donna with Vibrant Living International, and I'd like to welcome you to podcast 56. And I have a special guest with me today. Why don't you say hello and introduce yourself?
Well, thank you so much, Donna. Hi, everyone. This is Karyl Eckerle from the Image Impact Group, and I am thrilled to be here and chat today with Donna. So thank you.
Well, I am excited to have you with us today, Karyl. So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you and help them get to know you?
Sure. Well, my job is one story and my home life is another story. And they've kind of they've met in the middle, but
they do meet in the middle.
Yeah, they always meet in the middle. So like I said earlier, I'm the CEO and founder of the Image Impact Group, and my job is to help female leaders strategically harness their confidence, credibility, and their expertise to really increase opportunities and their bottom line. And I do that through image and personal branding strategies. So that is what I do. Who I am is the wife and mother of two boys. They're 19 and 20. Well, actually, gosh, they're going to be 20 and 21 here in a month. And, I was a stay-at-home mom for a while and put family first. And then, things change, of course. And here I am now heading up a company that I absolutely adored, doing work that I don't even call a job because it's fun and it's exciting and it's inspiring to me to watch my clients grow.
What you said was a mouthful. You probably need to, I'm like, you need to say that again, because that was a lot of good stuff in there that your company does for women. And every time I've heard you speak, you have such passion and authenticity that I know there was a time you didn't feel like you made an impact. Am I right?
Yeah. I would say I've always felt like I've made some form of impact, okay. but the impact was not necessarily focused on me, but focused on family. Okay. So that being said, my journey was, I have a very windy journey. I love working, and we always joke about this. I worked myself right out of a bachelor's degree. So I got promoted right out of a bachelor's degree. I was almost done and found a job that I loved and literally stopped going, that last semester to take over this position. That then led me, down the path of sales and loved it, ended up getting married, starting a family, and decided that staying home with my kids is what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I had an impact on my family, but a personal impact. I think that, as the kids grew, and I went back to work part-time and, kind of dabbled in a couple different things, I soon realized, fast forward 15 years, that soon these kids were going to be out of school. And, where was I? What was I doing? I had a successful jewelry business. Like I said, I had worked, but everything that I did put the kids and the family first, which was my choice. And I loved it. And I would not change that for the world.
I would agree.
Yeah. But all of a sudden you look in the mirror and you think, okay, I have been a great hockey mom. I've been a great, lead for this family. But now who am I? Who is Karyl Morris? Not necessarily Karyl Eckerle, married Karyl Eckerle, but Karyl Morris, the original. Without being a wife, without being a mom, without being, a daughter to an aging parent. Who was I? And that journey really brought me to where I am now. I really had to look inside. And very honestly, we were on a road trip for hockey. And I thought, gosh, again, what is it that makes me tick? So I wrote a whole list of things that made me me. Things I used to love to enjoy, things that I thought that I did differently than other people, ways that I thought, and I just made a list, who is Karyl Morris? And that list started me thinking about what I really love to do. And, back in the day, I was the go-to person for people that wanted to get ready for an interview. I was the person that people came to if they wanted to, find something cool to wear to an interview or just out for a fun night. I love that. My previous history was in staffing. I loved helping people find jobs. I saw the difference that it made when people, walked in prepared. And by the way, that's how I got my job, is that I walked in because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted some part-time work. I was going back to school. I wanted some part-time work. So I went to a staffing agency just to see what they had. And I dressed like I wanted a job. And I came out with a full-time position working for the staffing agency. So, it just was circumstantial. My mom was always a big proponent of, dress for the job that you want. Yep. First impressions make a big difference. So, that is how I went into this interview. And like I said, I came out with an offer that I couldn't refuse. It was my dream. And so that took me off and running, for a good long time before kids came along. So putting that all together and looking internally as to what I loved and what I was good at brought me to image consulting. Now, here's the funny thing. I didn't even know image consulting was a thing. Yep. I had never really heard of it. Of course, I'd heard of a stylist and a wardrobe consultant, and that's not really what I wanted to do. No. But I watched somebody else that was in the jewelry business with me open an image consulting business, and I was mesmerized. I watched her for a whole year, an entire year. So I had written my list, and then this person happened to open this company, and it was like, everything just kind of fell into place. So I watched her for a whole year, and then I did my research, and I studied, and I did everything that I needed to do to open up my doors as a business. And it has been fantastic. And then the personal branding piece, not only did I study that as well, but that piece is how I got to where I am now. Without the personal branding piece, your business doesn't really move forward as quickly as it could.
I love putting the two together as far as, our image. And we think of that as one thing, but in combining that with our branding for whoever you are, like you were saying about who am I? And I think we all go through that when we get a certain age group. It's like when the kids get older or some kind of thing happens in our life, and they like, who am I without being a mom and a daughter and a wife and a mother? And it's like all of this, who am I? Right. Going through that process is very enlightening, but not always fun. Yeah. But it is very enlightening to begin to figure those kind of things out and do the branding piece in there as well. So what are some of your tips that you give women regarding that? You've given a great one of making a list. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the tips that you might have for women who are finding themselves?
Well, one of the things that, again, going back to that list was magical for me, because it really, it made me stop and think, really. And then being able to look at what I was good at and look at what people needed, and then create something that, that really justified both ends, and helped both sides of the factor. That was huge. The other thing is that I think people forget about the fact that first impressions are so important, and no matter what you're going into, you've got to solidify how you're showing up. And one of the things that you can do is say to yourself, when I walk into a room and I walk back out, what's the one word that I hope everybody remembers about me? And no matter if this is on a personal basis or a professional basis, what are you trying to get people to know about you? Because we're so complex on the inside, right? We have so many experiences, we have so much knowledge, we have so much know-how, and we need to be able to share that on the outside so that people are ready to engage with us. They remember us. And again, whether that's personal or professional, I think that's something that people can do and hold it as a foundational piece for themselves, and almost like a check and balance. And that really becomes one of the grounding things that I do with my clients, is that, let's work on that one word. And it's hard to come up with one word. So sometimes we start with 3 or 5 and we whittle it down to 1. But I think that's a great exercise for women to do, because sometimes, we want to be known as one thing, and we're not getting the response back. There's a perception gap, if you will. There's a perception gap.
So what are some of the words women choose?
Oh gosh, there's so many.
That seems like a big task, even to try to figure out a word. So give me some examples.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people want to be known as creative. Some people want to be known as trustworthy. Some want to be known as dynamic. Some want to be known as sweet or kind, sporty, whatever that is. And the fact of the matter is that we have learned, through the years, and we have this sense that when we see something, it registers. And if you think about a movie, if you think about when they cast people or they dress people a certain way, or even in a book, when they describe something, if they described a woman with long, flowy, wavy hair and a beautiful, flowy, flowery dress, you envision something. It elicits a feeling within you. And that's kind of what happens with first impressions. Now, I don't ever think that you should dress for somebody else. I think you should dress for yourself. And I think you should dress for the goals that you have and what you're trying to accomplish. That being said, it's not a one-way street. Sometimes, you need to think about what surrounds you so that you can get to those goals. Right. So it is complicated. It is strategic. And it is, it takes some insight and some really thinking about, like if you start with 5 words, whittling it down to the 1 word takes a little bit of time. So.
Yes. Awesome. So what are some best advice you've ever received?
Oh gosh, best advice. Oh gosh, there's so many good little tidbits around, right?
What's one that's resonated with you?
Yeah. I can't even say it verbatim, but it was just what my mom brought to the table with our family. She was a very, very savvy businesswoman, but what she really brought was an educational piece. She was an educator by education. And then she went into real estate. And for her, it was always about relationship building. It wasn't about sales. It was relationship building, and things go forward and move forward when you are trusted, when people know that, the bottom line is not your biggest concern, but making sure that they have what they need. And also, again, being respectful to your own goals and respectful to the people around you, and how you show up. And that's something that I've carried with me. So. Awesome.
Well, it definitely shows in the way that in the few encounters that we've met each other, virtually, that is.
Yeah.
That it definitely shows in what you do. So if a woman wanted to meet with you and talk with you more, how would she reach out to you?
Yeah, the easiest way really is to connect via LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I think that platform is amazing. For various reasons. So LinkedIn is certainly one way to do it. The other way is to email me, and that would be at Karyl, and it's Karyl at theimageimpactgroup.com. So awesome. Either way.
Great. Oh, it's been so wonderful taking a few minutes. Time gets away from us here. Yeah. We enjoy getting to know you and learning more about what you do, and your heart is what I get, is your heart comes across that you want to help women to be able to do what their impacts are, what their impacts and what their dreams are and what their purposes are, and that you facilitate that happening. And so thank you for all that you do.
Oh gosh,
to make a difference in the world. We don't get told that enough, and I'm sincerely mean that. It's like, thank you for what you do in the world. And do you have any closing remarks, like a closing statement that you would like to encourage women with?
You know, one of the things, well, first of all, I want to say thank you to you, Donna, for not only inviting me, but the beautiful words that you just gave me, and also for you giving a platform for people to tell their stories. So that's huge, and thank you for that. And as far as a parting word, this is something that I actually trademarked because I believe it so wholeheartedly. And your image is your business. What you are putting out there is what you're going to get back in your image. And I want you to think about that. Image is not just appearance, but it's your behavior, it's your communication, and it's your digital presence. It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle, and it's a puzzle we're taking the time to do and make sure the pieces are there and the pieces fit together. And you will see that your journey just takes a whole different your journey is just going to be more fulfilling, and it's going to take you further when you put all the pieces together. I've seen it happen firsthand, and it's really pretty magical.
Awesome. Your image is your business, and they need to harmonize with what your goals are.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you again for being with us, and I look forward to connecting with you other places soon.
Sounds great.
I love what Karyl does to help women be in harmony with her image, with who she is on the inside as well. If that's something that you have struggled with, it reminds me of one of my clients, Ellen. She was a full-time manager as well as a mother, and she was kind of tired of feeling like she was taking care of everyone else in her life, but not herself. So there was some disharmony with who she wanted to be, and she felt trapped, and she didn't know how to go forward. And as she and I began to work together, a lot of it stemmed from a painful and difficult childhood that made her feel like she needed to take care of everybody else, and whatever she did, it wasn't really enough. If you can relate to that, I can help. Schedule a free strategy session with me and see what is possible. You can do that at iVibrantLiving.com. Click on the Schedule Now tab and choose your strategy session. And let's talk so that you can be all that you were created to be, because you were designed for greatness. And as always, this is Donna wishing you to live and love vibrantly.
Thank you for joining us on this powerful episode of the You Were Designed for Greatness podcast. Please share this with others who might enjoy it. For more info on Donna Tashton or to contact her, visit iVibrantLiving.com.